Hello, fantastical humans of the interwebs. Welcome to eSpot Live. My name is Ellie. I'm joined by the true star of the show and my faithful emotional support duck, Rodney. I've missed this. Oh my goodness, guys. Yay! I'm back. I'm so excited. It's a Monday. That's also exciting. Happy Monday. Guys, if I've talked before about having no sense of what day it is. It's gotten worse. But yeah, no, it's so good to be back. I'm excited for today's episode. Starting with disclaimers as always, I don't actually have any new or out of the ordinary disclaimers, except for the fact that I might be a little rusty. I know it's only been 2 weeks, but yeah, have patience with me jumping back in after a hiatus. And as always, let me know if you notice any sort of weird glitches, if there's any drops, and I'll do what I can to adjust it on my end as soon as possible. Other than that, fingers crossed, knock on wood, there's nothing too, glaring to announce for disclaimers. So, yeah. I will say that because I'm jumping back in from a bit of a hiatus, they decided to give me a couple extra topics to blabber about, so this might be a little bit of a longer episode. But yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully you guys are too. So with that being said, I'm gonna just start jumping in and babbling about entertainment news topics, because that's what I do. So, first up to chat about is Borderlands movie. So, before the hiatus, I don't know if it was the last episode I did or one of the ones before then, I talked a little bit about the rumor that Kevin Hart was part of Borderlands. Hey! We've got someone in the chat! Hello, Silly Fun. And Josh the Lego Dude. What's up? Josh is asking for stonk advice. That's a different show. But for now... welcome, guys. Good to see you here. Good to be back. Yeah, so chatting about Borderlands. Borderlands is being turned into a movie, and there were rumors that Kevin Hart was going to be part of it, but we didn't know what part he was going to play. We have confirmation now, which is super fun. So, Eli Roth's live-action Borderlands movie, which is falling under the Lionsgate umbrella, it's set to begin filming quite soon in Budapest. We don't yet have an official first look. However, we do have confirmation of a major rumor, which is Kevin Hart's involvement. And what we have is that Kevin Hart is confirmed to be playing Roland in the upcoming Borderlands movie, alongside Cate Blanchett, which we already knew was playing Lilith. So this is interesting and not exactly what I saw coming, but I'm super excited about. The confirmation itself came by the way of The Hollywood Reporter. They solidified earlier rumors of Hart's role in the film. So yeah, we knew, like I said, that he was confirmed to be kind of involved in some way, shape, or form, but not his role in the film. Yeah, now we know. So for those of you who, like me before, were not really familiar with the Borderlands franchise, Roland is a highly skilled soldier from Promethea. He's trained to the nines by the Atlas Corporation. Definitely someone you don't want to mess with. Especially with his affinity for toys, like his deadly Scorpio turret. It'll be, played in the upcoming film by Kevin Hart, which is not... Like I said, it's not exactly what people would see coming. This is a very different type of role for Kevin Hart, which I, for one, am legitimately excited about. And I'm not the only one. Roth feels 100% confident in the casting decision. He's quoted as saying, "I'm thrilled to be working with Kevin Hart. Borderlands is a different kind of role for him, and we're excited to thrill audiences with a side of Kevin they've never seen before. He's going to be an amazing Roland. Kevin has been behind some of the world's biggest blockbusters, and our source material is inspired by one of the world's best-selling video games." So the assumption is that it's a match made in heaven. I've got John in the chat too. I'm back. It's so good. It's so good to be chatting with you guys again. Legitimately, I miss this more than I thought I would, which when I say it out loud sounds bad, but I don't mean it that way. I just mean it's a not very well-known fact, I guess, except I think I've talked about it before. I'm an introvert, so this is a new type of adventure for me, but it's one that I love, so it's really good to be chatting with you guys again. So yeah, welcome to the chat, John. I'm glad to be back. Good to see you here. So yeah, focusing on Borderlands. I'm so good at focusing, guys. That hasn't changed. And then G-Man's here too in the chat. Not first. Correct. Well done. Welcome. So yeah, we've got Kevin Hart playing Roland in Borderlands. Not necessarily who people would pick for the role, but like the studio's excited about it and the director's excited about it and I'm excited about it because Kevin Hart is a just phenomenally talented and skilled individual. But this is just going to be brand new, seeing this very different side of his acting abilities, which I am really, really stoked for. Roth goes on to say, I'm so excited to dive into the world of Borderlands. I could not be doing it with a better script, production team, and studio. I have a long, successful history with Lionsgate, and I feel like we've grown up together, and everything in my directing career has led to a project of this scale and ambition. So everybody's super stoked about this. Like I said, the rumor's been confirmed. It's official. I'm looking forward to the first look, where we get to see a little bit more. I'm also looking forward to a more complete cast list, because aside from Cate Blanchett and Kevin Hart, we don't really know much about who's going to be in it yet. But yeah, the filming's going to be starting very soon, and so we know that obviously there's more information to be shared, and I'm excited to hear about it so I can share it with you guys. But yeah, we also have yet to see what kind of artistic direction they're gonna like run with in this movie. So I'm excited. I'm hopeful. I feel like I'm always hopeful for adaptations, even though there's like adaptations are so hit and miss. They really, really are. But I always am really, really hopeful because for me, I feel like it's either a good adaptation in that like it really connects you with the original source material, or it's like good on its own, like kind of separate, and my brain just goes, okay, that's an alternate universe and that's fine. Like I like it, even if it's not quite, on par or the same. And then there's the adaptations that just we don't talk about ever because they're not good. So yeah, Silly Fun saying, very interested to see the artistic style because the game is very distinctive. Exactly. It's got that whole, it's a very interesting style. It's very unique. It's very well loved. And so, yeah, here's to hoping that it doesn't fall under the category of the video game adaptation curse. I'm hopeful, though. As I said before, it's got a good team behind it. They're making interesting choices, and that to me says that they're, I think, running with that that kind of distinctive style, because they're making very distinctive choices in who they're casting and how they're doing it. So, excited to see Kevin Hart in a brand new type of role. Excited to see what they do with the movie at large. Yeah, they've got my hope. My hopeful support. We'll just have to see, though. I'm looking forward to the next look. That's all I really have on that particular topic. So moving right along to the next one. Bit of a bummer, but I don't know. It's kind of good news for me in a way, I suppose. The bummer is that Coachella has been canceled. Yet again. This is the third time that it's been postponed or canceled due specifically to COVID-19. So definitely a bummer that we're still having to kind of deal with this and that it's been put off and canceled again. The good news is that people are doing what needs to be done, because we haven't really seen that happen all the time. And if you've seen any of my babblings before, you know that I'm definitely in support of people over products in every way, shape, and form. People and safety are always more important. As much as I adore music and stories and arts and the entertainment industry at large, which I do, I support it, I adore it, it's important, but it's not worth putting people at risk. So like I said, bummer news, but I'm relieved and happy that people are making these decisions. So just jumping into a little bit more detail there, this has been officially ordered by health officials that the Coachella Music Festival, which was scheduled for April, is to be canceled due to the coronavirus pandemic. Again, this is the third time that the pandemic's kind of pushed off and or canceled it. So Coachella's 2020 festival was originally scheduled for April and then postponed to October before being scrapped. And then, you know, we have this April 2021. Whether or not this is being postponed or not really depends on a lot of things. It depends on the spread of the virus. It depends on whether or not the production and distribution of the vaccine continues to be delayed. So there's a lot going on there. But again, I am grateful that there are people paying attention, looking out for, and making decisions that are difficult decisions for events like this. So the Riverside County Health Officer, Dr. Cameron Kaiser, has issued an official order on Friday that says the Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival and the Stagecoach Country Music Festival, currently scheduled for April 2021, are hereby canceled. This order is intended to reduce the likelihood of exposure to COVID-19. If COVID-19 were detected at these festivals, the scope and number of attendees and the nature of the venue would make it infeasible, if not impossible, to track those who may be placed at risk. So, again, they're really, this is really about safety. And again, I don't know how to, like, emphasize this enough without pushing past the irritating, but as frustrating as this is, and as much as all of us want to jump back into these events that we love, that make us feel part of a group and part of a family, we won't get there unless we take care now. So it's really nice that people are taking care, are making those difficult decisions again to postpone, to cancel, to take the flack, because a lot of people, I'm sure, are very angry, to keep people safe. And, you know, just jumping back into the chat, Silly Fun saying, you know, if there's no people, there's no product and no audience. So yes, we need to protect the people, right? And then J-Man's wondering about Comic-Cons. Obviously last year Comic-Con was brought online, and so that brings it to Silly Fun's comment of whether there's a discussion of doing something digitally or virtually. There's not been anything announced yet. As of now, the reports are suggesting that it might be again postponed, so they're thinking about October again, with that hope that vaccines can be distributed effectively enough to get enough people safe by then. It's also, you know, very likely that we're going to see other large spring, summer events postponed or canceled. So again, things like Comic-Con, things like really a lot of conventions. Many conventions went online last year, and I personally have a very strong feeling that that will continue into this year. And it'll be interesting to see if these other more mainstream events will kind of follow suit, if they will kind of be able to organize an online thing. There's no confirmation of that, but I think that would be an excellent way to kind of go about doing this. But it's also very much I think taking things online, making them virtual, especially with events like this, is almost a labor of love, because obviously Comic-Con in person, you know, you buy your tickets, you go in, and Comic-Con online, you go in for free. And so there's a lot of, you know, building and maintaining the community, making the sacrifice, the financial sacrifice rather, of acknowledging that you're not going to make the same amount of money, but continuing as full-scale production as you possibly can safely, with the idea of maintaining a community for future profits, versus, you know, continuing to postpone and wait until you can get those profits based on physical tickets. It's been really interesting to see how different people have been making those decisions and making those wagers. Again, I've talked a lot about premieres, movie premieres, and how you know, they're releasing simultaneously in theaters and online this year in a lot of ways. So I agree with Silly Fun saying virtual events are not the same, but at least we get a taste of it, right? So like I said, I think it's super important just to maintain that community, even if, like I said, somebody's got to bite the bullet and take the hit profit-wise, which in a capitalistic society is a bummer. I get that. But people over product, people over profit. That's just my personal view. I know not everybody agrees. But yeah, I think it's important to maintain that community. And I really think that if we're able to, we'll come out stronger on the other side. So, boo that it's canceled, but yay that we're being safe, because that gives me hope that in the coming years it won't have to be canceled again. And Silly Fun's mentioning they can still charge for admission. That's true. It's harder to police online, for sure, but it's definitely still possible. And then there's things, you know, Comic-Cons are doing where they'll still have signings or one-on-one Zoom chats with celebrities, which is kind of really freaking cool. And those take donations, like donations and or you know, profit-based tickets like any other event. So there's still options. Not quite the same, but there's definitely still stuff you can do. So we'll keep an eye on that with Coachella and events like that to see if they follow that trend or if they kind of try to do their own thing. But yeah, I will let you know as soon as I know. That's all I've really got on that particular topic. So moving right along to in preparation for today's eSpot, this was the topic that just warmed my heart. As many of you, if not all of you, I'm sure are aware, there's been a bit of a saga going on Reddit with the stock market, specifically related to GameStop stocks. That's been, I guess, the saga that's been at the forefront. This is large scale. It goes beyond GameStop, but yeah, I get to talk about it because it's being made into a movie, guys. I don't know if you can tell how much joy this brings me, but it brings me a lot of joy. Alright, so the situation isn't over yet, for sure. We still don't know how this saga is going to end, but despite all of that, the rights to a movie based on these events has already been settled. So this was reported by Deadline. MGM has acquired the book proposal called The Antisocial Network from New York Times bestselling author Ben Mesrich. So this just happened, guys, and already Mesrich has been like, this is the book, I'm gonna write it, has gotten the rights to it, and somebody's bought a movie in preparation for the book being written to be adapted, which is, again, the joy this brings me to watch creative people jump on something this quickly and just run with it is hilarious, especially in a situation that like this. Again, little bit of more detail in this. This particular book is looking to tell the story of, quote, a ragtag group of amateur investors, gamers, and internet trolls who brought Wall Street to its knees. That's the tagline we got, guys. Insiders have said that Mesrich and his reps took the book proposal to the market last week, and by Friday night, MGM had already acquired the rights to the film adaptation. I love everything about this, guys. This particular project is going to be reuniting MGM's Michael DeLuca with Mesrich. They've worked together to adapt Mesrich's other books. So one of which is The Accidental Billionaires, the founding of Facebook, A Tale of Sex, Money, Genius, and Betrayal, which was adapted into what would be known as The Social Network. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with. Mesrich is also known for the book Bringing Down the House, the inside story of 6 MIT students who took Vegas for millions, which was later then adapted into the film 21. These have been very successful adaptations. This is a very successful partnership. They're very fun stories, and they've already started on GameStop's saga. So, yeah, super, super fun. Everything about this is hilarious. I love it. Silly Fun's asking, how do you decide who has the rights to a social/grassroots phenomenon? First come, first serve. Really, my understanding of this is, Mesrich started writing, and he's got the clout to pitch a book, and, as soon as MGM saw that he pitched his book, they're like, yes. They've already got this partnership in place. So I'm legitimately looking forward to this movie. It's going to be great. Background, if some of you have managed to not follow along with this particular saga, very, very brief and truncated version of the backstory is that GameStop, as I've talked a lot about on the show up until now, has experienced a lot of setbacks over the past year. What with the pandemic, them being a strictly in-store location, things being moved online even without the pandemic, they really, really took a hit. From a stock market perspective, this caused their shares to drop to around $3 per share, which is relatively low in 2020. And a bunch of people with hedge funds, like big, important, wealthy, trading people, decided to publicly make a gamble that GameStop would fail. And so they decided to do short sales. Essentially, borrow a bunch of stocks, sell them at a certain price with the bet that you're going to buy them back at a lower price, give them back to the lender, and make money, right? Simple, whatever. Somebody decided to brag about it and kind of slam GameStop in the process. Somebody on Reddit did not like that brag, and so they took to a subreddit called Wall Street Bets, gathered up a community, and decided to troll these hedge funds who bet on the demise of GameStop. This turned into an all-out battle, guys, which has been super fun to watch. Literally between short sellers in hedge funds and subreddit. The subreddit community managed to increase the stock value by over 1,700%, guys. So, as of writing this prompt that I got, the stock price was sitting at about 325 USD. So it went from $3 with people, taking it, selling it, expecting to buy it back at dirt cheap, to $325. That means that, all of these people who sold it at $3 are gonna have to buy it back at over $300. That's a huge loss. We're talking on the scale of billions of dollars in losses. This has also caused other people to kind of, try to bail out these hedge funds, because that's what happens in our society. And the subreddit community doubled down, which drove the stocks up even higher, which means that the bailouts were overrun. Again, this has just been a saga that has brought me much amusement. I didn't know anything about stocks before this happened. I know very little about stocks now. I'm not gonna pretend that I'm in any way, shape, or form an expert. Hopefully what I've been babbling about makes sense. Again, worth noting that it's not just GameStop. This is happening with AMC. This is happening with Nokia. Both of those companies, as well as others, have seen these massive increases. Essentially, the subreddit is looking at specific brags, it seems like. These hedge funds have been, like I said, publicly bragging about their bets on the demise of specific companies. And so, the little man is jumping in, teaming up to turn this into a bit of a casino, which has been kind of fun to watch. G-Man in the comments is saying the hedge fund that sort of became the face of the shorts. So this is the one that kind of publicly announced their bet is now down over 50%. It's been interesting. Also worth noting that these specific developments have led to stock trading apps like the ironically named Robinhood controversially halting trading. So this is creating a big enough splash that it seems like these apps are being kind of possibly pressured by these large hedge funds to limit smaller trading. And there's so much controversy here. This is, like I said, we don't know how the story's going to end yet, which is why the fact that they're already working on the stories to document this historic moment is a beautiful thing. Also kind of, in some ways, maybe ironic that, Hollywood's the one that's going to be monetizing off of this particular story. But yeah, this is a legitimately historic event. It's comedic in some ways, fascinating in many ways, and I'm excited to not only just watch this unfold, because this is stuff that goes way over my head, but also, you know, I'm interested in what they're gonna make of it. Again, I'm learning a lot through this. I'm learning a lot about stonks, as they're saying in the chat. The fact that, like, this is meme culture versus hedge funds, just, again, I cannot properly express my just delight. I don't know what that says about me, but this whole situation has brought me so much joy and amusement in the middle of... Oh, and the memes, guys. The memes that have come out of this. Just... Anywho, moving right along before I dive further into this whole... Yeah. I think I'm gonna just leave it at that, unless y'all have more to say on it in the chat. Go, little guy. That's my personal... I feel like this is the place where I say... The views expressed by Ellie do not necessarily represent the views of DVSI Entertainment at all times, because she babbles and doesn't have a filter. So yeah, I personally am highly amused by that particular debacle. That's a fun word. And on that note, I'm gonna move right along. Sex and the City is being rebooted. Not necessarily brand new news. The new news with that new news is that it's going to have a COVID-19 plotline. So that's fun. It has been confirmed by Sarah Jessica Parker that the pandemic is going to be addressed in the Sex and the City revival. Words. So the revival is titled And Just Like That. This iconic show is returning to HBO Max as a limited series. So joining Parker, we've got co-stars Cynthia Nixon and Kristen Davis. The only main cast member not rejoining is Kim Cattrall. This actress played Samantha Jones, and she's made it known that she was unwilling to return to the franchise after rumors surfaced that a third Sex and the City film didn't move forward because she didn't want to participate. She's really long been outspoken about her personal experience on the show, and that it wasn't really the source of friendship that many thought it had been. But even so, the series' popularity has persisted after its 6-season run with 2 blockbuster film follow-ups, and it's remained popular enough that these talks of a revival reignited interest in the show. And even though there's a lot of controversy over the 2 follow-up films, you know, a lot of people thought those were missteps, but there's still hope for this revival, enough that they're able to reboot it even without that 4th actress. It remains to be seen, obviously, if this is going to capture the magic of the original, if it's going to be as, just, you know, as Sex and the City as the original. But we do know now that the show's really aiming to stay relevant in multiple ways. So, Parker's already said that the show's going to be touching on effects of social media, the evolution of feminism, a lot of things that have happened since the show's late 90s premiere. And now the actress has revealed that the show will indeed have a COVID plotline. So she spoke to Vanity Fair in an interview and said that she's absolutely sure that the writers will address COVID in the series, because it's really something that will have affected the women. All of the women involved are excited to look at how the time has passed, how that could have potentially affected the relationships at the heart of the show. And all of this is going to be compounded with the continued presence of COVID-19. She's quoted as saying, "COVID-19 will obviously be part of the storyline because that's the city these characters live in. And how has that changed relationships once friends disappear? I have great faith that the writers are going to examine it all. I think that Cynthia, Kristen, and I are all excited about the time that has passed. You know, who are they in this world now? Have they adapted? What part have they played? Where have they fallen short as women, as friends? And how are they finding their way? Did they move with the momentum? Are they like some people who are confused, threatened, nervous by what's happening in the world?" I'm so curious and excited to see how the writers imagine these women today. So, yeah, it's looking like there's a lot of excitement there. There's a lot of, the intention is really to do, in a lot of ways, what I talked a bit before this is a little bit of a sidetrack, but it's connected, I promise. I talked in an earlier episode about the Lizzie McGuire reboot that was then canceled. And part of the cancellation was because Hilary Duff and some of the writers, they really wanted to dive into the modern adult version of this character and really, really dig into what has happened historically and keep it real, keep it relevant. And then obviously as a Disney show, they weren't sure if that would work. So there was a lot of controversy there. So I feel like this particular show and this reboot has the potential to capture the original magic, as well as be a really successful reboot. First of all, because it's a limited series, and I think that that's important with a lot of reboots because it allows a solid beginning, middle, and end to be planned out beforehand. And then also because, again, they're definitely very specifically jumping back in to the story right now and, you know, looking at how things have realistically been effective, how the characters have been affected. So I'm very curious to see what they do with it. Yeah, be very interested to know that. Silly Fun is asking, is John Corbett involved? Excellent question. Let me dig in my notes. I honestly don't know. I don't know. And then, sorry, that's terrible. Anyways, moving right along before I dig a hole. Silly Fun's also saying HBO also allows for more adult stories. That's very true, which is, I think, one of the reasons, like I said, a lot of the controversy with the Lizzie McGuire thing was that they thought maybe it'd be more appropriate to be on Hulu rather than on Disney. So they could dig into the adult aspects of it, but alas, did not work. So yeah, I think because, you're right, because HBO does allow for those more, you know, adult concepts. And also, Sex and the City has always been more of an adult show. So there's that as well. It's never been, you know, an innocent or kid-based show that's now thinking about catering to the original audience. It's had an adult audience and is now continuing to deal with the adult audience. And then Silly Fun's bringing up Mandalorian. That's not really a kid show. Well, Star Wars is its own thing. Star Wars is Star Wars. I don't know. I don't make the decisions for Disney. I just thought that was an interesting parallel between the two shows. But yeah, that's really all I have on Sex and the City reboot. But yay, reboot. I'm super excited about that. Moving right along. There has been a leak. Whenever I say leak or report on leak, I think immediately of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2 with the leak on the boat. I don't know if that means anything to anybody who's watching right now, but it just cracks me up every single time. Anyways, there's been a leak that has confirmed that MLB The Show 21 is coming to Xbox. Woo! This is a long-time PlayStation exclusive, guys. The series MLB The Show. And 21 is expected to be revealed in February 2021, but this new leak seems to suggest that the game will also come to Xbox consoles for the first time. If this is accurate, because like I said, it's a leak, hey. Again, I just always think of the thing screaming in the boat. If this is accurate, MLB The Show 21 marks the first year the PlayStation exclusive will be on a non-PlayStation platform in its 15-year history. MLB first announced this multi-platform move at the end of 2019, saying that the 2021 title would be bring the beloved baseball series to Xbox, potentially Nintendo Switch as well. So it was, the rumors kind of began there, or I guess it was, the plan began there. Little more detail on it. The series has always been developed in-house by Sony San Diego and published by PlayStation, ruling out any opportunities to bring it to the other platforms for over a decade. Sony's production and ownership of the title remain the same for 2021, but it looks like a deal was struck behind the scenes to ensure that Microsoft and Nintendo could also get their hands on Sony San Diego's well-liked baseball simulator. This new leak was shared by a nerdy dad on Instagram. And it showcases fans' first look at the cover of MLB The Show 21. The cover features Fernando Tatis Jr., shortstop for the San Diego Padres, as its cover athlete. The Xbox cover art has also has the recently formed PlayStation Studios logo plastered quite predominantly across the cover, which would be a first for an Xbox game. It's also worth noting that there's a PlayStation 5 cover, but the Xbox cover art only mentions Xbox One. So since the Xbox Series X and S launch, Microsoft usually combines both generations' releases into one box thanks to smart delivery, but it's unclear right now whether that will be the case this time. There was also another leak that surfaced on Reddit thanks to Blackout797, which corroborates the Xbox release with Jackie Robinson edition covers, as well as an April release date. Xbox has been severely lacking a AAA quality baseball game ever since MLB 2K13, which was on Xbox 360. There have been a few arcade baseball games over the years, but baseball fans on Xbox haven't really been thrown so much as a curveball. Baseball pun. Anyways, in a very long time. There hasn't been a multi-platform baseball sim to rival things like NBA, Madden, FIFA in ages, really. But it seems that the tides may be turning. Woo! So as the console market is fully entering a new generation, looks like deals are being made. Super exciting stuff. It's fairly unprecedented to for console exclusive games to kind of make that jump onto other platforms, but it's not like it's never been seen before. It just doesn't happen very often. So examples: Microsoft has continued to support the Minecraft IP on both PlayStation and Nintendo after acquiring Mojang. Ori and the Blind Forest also made the jump over to Nintendo Switch in 2019, and its sequel released on the platform in 2020. So, and then also, of course, you have to mention, in the much stranger move, Master Chief and God of War's Kratos both appeared in Fortnite together at the end of 2020. I know I talked about that one, which allowed PlayStation players to play as the Halo icon and Xbox players to play as God of War in this really bizarre crossover. So, things like this have been done before. It's not unheard of. It just doesn't happen often. And it has yet to be 100% confirmed with dates released by the consoles themselves. So we have yet to see official news. But unofficially, the leak says it shall happen. And there's a good chance that it will, because the company's also made reference to the possibility a couple of years ago. It's weird that 2019 is a couple of years ago, because time has not existed in its normal functioning way for the past way too long. Anyways, moving right along. Next up to chat about is a very interesting topic that I personally am curious about. So, something happened in Texas that was unexpected for many residents, and that was a couple of fictional characters appearing as subjects of a Texas Amber Alert message. These fictional characters were none other than Chucky and his son Glenn. For those of you who don't know, Chucky is a homicidal doll introduced back in 1988 in the first Child's Play film, which was directed by Tom Holland. No, not that Tom Holland. He was not alive yet. It was created by writer Don Mancini. It starred Catherine Hicks as Karen Barclay, a single mother who buys her son Andy, played by Alex Vincent, a good guy doll for his birthday. Unbeknownst to them, the toy, which is already the size of a human child, is possessed by the soul of serial killer Charles Lee Ray, aka Chucky, played by Brad Dourif. Seeking to take over the body of Andy and escape being forever trapped in the form of a doll, Chucky carves up anyone who gets in the way. Sillyfoot says, Chucky has a child? Yes, Chucky has a child. Okay, so I don't know too much about horror. It's not my preferred genre. I didn't know that there were 6 sequels. I knew that it was a series. I knew that there was more than just Chucky. I like vaguely aware of it, right? But no, it's been around for a while. It's a popular franchise. I didn't know that it was quite that big. It generated 6 sequels over the next 3 decades, with Dorff voicing Chucky throughout the series. So yeah, the Child's Play was actually rebooted and relaunched in 2019, and this version starred Aubrey Plaza, known for her role in Parks and Recreation, among other things, Brian Tyree Henry, and Mark Hamill taking over the voice of Chucky. It really maintained the same premise, but had an updated look, origin, and backstory for Chucky, and it was really only moderately successful. And so there was kind of a call to return to the original formula, and that call was answered in the upcoming Chucky TV series for Sci-Fi and USA Network, which is bringing back the original creator, Mancini, to write and executive produce, as well as Dorff to once more voice the titular character. In this upcoming TV series, a vintage Chucky doll is discovered at a small town yard sale. Words are hard. And unleashes chaos and murder on the community. So yeah, very recently, Chucky was able to cause some real-life chaos in several towns across the Lone Star State when an official Amber Alert, which, for those who don't know, an Amber Alert is used to report missing or abducted children. An Amber Alert was mysteriously sent out by the Texas Alert System, naming Chucky as a suspect. This was reported by Deadline. We know that it was about the fictional characters because Chucky is described in the Amber Alert as 28 years old, 3 foot 1 inches, 16 pounds, and wearing, quote, blue denim overalls with multicolored striped long sleeve shirt, wielding a huge kitchen knife. He was alleged to have abducted his son Glenn, who is listed as 5 years old, 2 foot 3 inches tall, 6 pounds, and wearing a, quote, blue shirt with black collar. From Henderson, Texas, on January 28th. That's when this went out. This false email alert went out 3 separate times before the Texas Alert System caught on and fixed it. They issued a formal apology for the bizarre event, blaming the mishap on a test malfunction. So yes, to answer Silly Fun's question from before, Glenn was introduced in the film Seed of Chucky, which came out in 2004, voiced by Billy Boyd. You might know from Lord of the Rings, and is actually the son of Chucky and another evil living doll, Tiffany, who was introduced in the previous film, Bride of Chucky. So yes, this is canon. Chucky has a son. I didn't know that either. In the film, Glenn struggles with his parentage because he resists the murder that his parents seem to delight in. Ironically enough, the Amber Alert System malfunction seems to resemble the plot and origin for the Child's Play remake. So in the 2019 picture, a disgruntled employee tampers with the doll's AI safety protocols, turning what is supposed to be a child's companion and best friend into a havoc-wreaking murder bot. Fortunately, obviously, the incident in Texas involving the toddler-sized terror did not turn out as badly as they typically do in the Child's Play films. However, it did, did cause some drama. My interest in this is how something like this happens accidentally. There's 2 possibilities that are floating around in my brain. One is that somebody who's a nerd and likes horror was testing the system and kind of like writing up a profile and accidentally sent it out. That is something I would do. I definitely understand that. The timing, though, seems like it's kind of on purpose. I don't know. This would not be the first time that real life situations are used to advertise horror. What comes to mind is the Blair Witch Project, which had, kind of a bunch of real life infiltration to create a cult following for the film. This kind of feels very much like that, but also to have that kind of influence over, the Texas Amber Alert system seems a little bit far-fetched. So I'm really curious if somehow the Chucky TV series references something similar. I'm gonna be skeptical. I have my ideas that this was on purpose, but again, like, I feel like this is a dangerous way to advertise a film with an Amber Alert system, because the Amber Alert system is actually very, very important. So, was it an accident? I can see that happening, because that is something that I would accidentally do. Was it on purpose? I can also see that happening, because something similar has been done before. However, this is taking it maybe too far. So, I want to make it perfectly clear, though, that this is just Ellie's conjecture. This is not in any way, shape, or form declaring the intent behind what happened. This is what happened, and this is Ellie babbling about it. So yeah. For those of you excited about the Chucky TV series coming out, here's something to get hyped about. For those of you who are just amused by glitches in the system, here you go. That's for you too. And on that note, before I dig myself into a bigger hole, I think this is a great time for my regularly scheduled hydration break. I've just noticed that I look a bit fuzzy. Do I look fuzzy to anyone else? I feel like my camera's not really focusing properly. I'll have to do... My camera likes to focus on Rodney because it knows that he's the star of the show. So maybe I can use Rodney to refocus. Maybe. Or I could just go on my hydration break, and when it comes back, it'll refocus a bit. I will make sure I fix this before I jump back in. Anyways. Oh, yes, Rodney Emo in the chat! That just makes me so happy. It worked! Oh my gosh. Okay. I just gotta get excited about Rodney. Again, eSpot Live. This whole system knows that Rodney is the star of the show. That being said, drink some water. I will always harp on this. Just because it's my shtick. Hydration is important. Water is important. Your body needs it to function well. Your kidneys need it to live. Again, I learned all this the hard way. So, drink some water. No, Coca-Cola is not water. Chucky milk is not water. Rum is not water. I haven't seen Wolf in a bit, but I see you. Respawn goes great with water. Wink, wink. I like that. Fair enough. But yeah, so we've got Redemption of Hydrate. We'll start my hydration on camera. Yes, all of these drinks are good, and I 100% support your beverage of choice. However, water is important, so drink some water. I will be right back. It looks like. If it's not in focus on your end, let me know. But it looks like everything's good to go on my end. Just double checking, making sure like my mic is on and stuff. Told y'all I'd be a little rusty with this. It's fine. Hey, I'm back! And Jenna Roxy is in the chat, so you caught my Chalky Milk comment. Good. And the mic is good. Thank you for that confirmation. Appreciate that for sure. Thank you for the welcome back. The next topic I have to babble about is comic book related. Woohoo! I absolutely adore the opportunity that I have on eSpot Live to dig into topics that I'm not as familiar about. I've gotten to learn so much. I love it. So yeah, in this topic of things that I didn't necessarily know before preparation, Marvel is rebooting the Heroes Reborn storyline. So, in 1996, Heroes Reborn appeared as really one of the more infamous Marvel Comics crossovers from the 90s. That is not stopping the publisher from capitalizing on the project's 25th anniversary. So for those of you who, like myself, are unfamiliar with the original Heroes Reborn, this crossover was Marvel's very short-lived attempt at rebooting the Avengers and Fantastic Four franchises. So following the events of the Onslaught crossover, the world believed both teams had sacrificed their lives to stop the all-powerful villain, but in truth, Franklin Richards used his powers to create a new pocket universe where his friends could lead new lives with no memory of the world that they left behind. Relaunch titles like Avengers, Fantastic Four, Captain America, and Iron Man effectively restarted their respective characters' stories from square one. And this sometimes also allowed them to introduce significant changes to established origins. Heroes Reborn was also notable because Marvel, which was at the time in the throes of bankruptcy, outsourced production on the various books to Jim Lee's Wildstorm Productions as well as Rob Liefeld's Extreme Studios. Naturally, the change did not last. The various heroes were all folded back into the regular Marvel universe just the following year, with their memories fully restored. So it was a very kind of like temporary attempt at a reboot in a way. Marvel has revisited this Heroes Reborn universe a handful of times since then, most notably in 2006's Onslaught Reborn. Marvel has revealed new details in the creative team for Heroes Reborn, which we know now is going to be a new ongoing series helmed by the Avengers writer Jason Aaron, and artist Ed McGuinness. So Marvel has confirmed this Heroes Reborn has no direct ties to the original storyline. So this is going to be a different Heroes Reborn than the 1996 event, but it does share certain conceptual similarities. The series in particular is set to occur in the aftermath of the current Enter the Phoenix storyline in Avengers. It seems that the story will end with the Phoenix Force obliterating the world and remaking it with one major change. In this reborn Marvel universe, the Avengers never formed. This causes a chain reaction of alterations to the Marvel timeline. So in this new timeline, Thor is an embittered alcoholic unworthy of Mjolnir. Tony Stark never creates his trademark armor, and Captain America is still frozen in ice. So in the place of Avengers, this allows the Squadron Supreme of America to be the world's dominant super team. They're going to be opposing villains like Dr. Juggernaut, the Black Skull, the Silver Witch, and a Thanos who wields Infinity Rings instead of the Infinity Gauntlet. So yeah, Aaron's quoted in Marvel's press release as saying, "This is maybe the wildest story I've ever put on paper. I got to cut loose on this and release my inner comic-reared child in a really profound way. And together with a cadre of immensely imaginative artists, we built a world that I'm pretty confident in saying is quite unlike any version of the Marvel Universe you've seen before. It grew out of the pages of my Avengers run, but kept getting bigger and bigger as it went, and the more pieces I put in place for this reborn world, the more gleeful and excited I became. This project really stoked the fires of my love for comics in all the right ways." So yeah, it appears that Heroes Reborn will be taking the place of the monthly Avengers comic for the foreseeable future, even as it continues plot threads from that series. So yeah. Given what we now know about Mephisto being the secret architect behind countless acts of villainy, is eliminating the Avengers part of a large-scale plan? Maybe this is where they're going with it? I don't know. This new series is set to debut in May of 2021. So there you go. For all you comic nerds out there who follow the comic books and the runs, this is super exciting. I was initially very skeptical. Even as someone, like I said, I've openly admitted that I don't know too much about this. I'm not as familiar with comics as I am the cinematic universes, but I have some knowledge of it, and it's very, very interesting. And at first it's like, I don't know about this, but honestly what sells me on it and what makes me excited for the potential here is the creator's excitement. Because, you know, Jason Aaron is stoked about this, and the way that he speaks about this just igniting everything, it really is allowing him to start from scratch in a lot of ways. And his excitement makes me excited, because I feel like sometimes decisions like this are made just for the sake of that side of kind of like, whatchamacallit, that just like surprise element or whatever, just to kind of shake things up to draw attention. And those are very hit and miss storylines when you do things like that. But when you take something like this and then pair it with someone who's like genuinely over the moon and excited and just taking the reins and running with it, there's so much potential there. So super, super excited. Silly Fun says, and I agree, passion usually means good work. I concur wholeheartedly. This is someone who has a history in Avengers, knows and loves the characters, etc., who is just like giddy about this new project. So I was very skeptical when I started researching it, but I'm now actually quite excited just because the creators are excited, and that usually means good work. So super fun stuff there. Yeah, there we go. Someone who cares is more likely to do something quality. That's what Silly Fun says. I concur. Moving on. The next thing that I want to address real quick is actually a bit more somber. So I want to express sincere condolences to the friends and family of Jeanette Mouse, who has passed away. Jeanette Mouse is a voice actor. She's donned many roles. Most recently, she set the internet alight with her bloody charm in a new trailer for Resident Evil Village. So yeah, it's very somber news to report that Mouse has passed away at the very young age of 39. Capcom broke the official news to the gaming community with an image of her character in Village and the following caption: "We here at Capcom R&D1 are deeply saddened to hear about the passing of Jeanette Mouse, the talented actress who helped bring several different characters, including our witches, to the world in Resident Evil Village. Our heart goes out to her family and loved ones." THR went on to report that Mouse passed away due to an ongoing 8-month-long battle with colon cancer. She passed away Sunday night, January 24th. A statement from John Rosenfeld Studios, where she taught and mentored young actors, was released saying, "Jeanette was truly an artist and felt truly grateful to live as an artist. She had an indomitable spirit and was hungry to be the best person, the best teacher, the best friend, and the best actor she could be. The world lost a force of nature, and we will be feeling that for a long time." So in addition to teaching and mentoring young hopefuls, she also enjoyed a career in film and television to go with her voice acting career. Her credits include, but are not limited to, the upcoming show called Stellar People. She has previous credits including Those Guys, Charm City Kings, Snuggle Party, Dismissed, and more. Many people here have played through the maiden demo of Resident Evil Village and have absolutely fallen in love with her character. So we here at DBSI Entertainment offer our dearest condolences to Mouse's family and loved ones. It is always sad and devastating to see just such incredible and passionate people pass away before their time. And this is, I think, an example of that. And I feel like every time an unfortunate event like this happens, you know, you learn a lot more about the battle behind the scenes and also the behind the scenes impact. So this is someone who not only makes good and valuable contributions to the entertainment industry, but also, again, behind the scenes, you're finding out she's a mentor and just a loved and fantastic human being. So yeah, condolences, and it's sad to see yet another amazing person pass away. I have no clue how to transition out of a topic like that because I'm not very skilled at transitions. But I'm going to go ahead and move on unless anybody has any comments or thoughts to add. The next topic I have to chat about is TikTok. In particular, the fact that they're making new changes to ensure that teen accounts are more private by default. So now when a young teenager signs up for TikTok, their account will be more private by default. So TikTok announced last week that it is updating the default settings for users aged 13 to 15, and this is going to limit who can see and comment on their videos. So only users who they add as friends will be able to view their videos, and their account will not be suggested to other users. TikTok will also completely disable the option to let anyone comment on these users' videos, even if they make their account public. So all of these users between 13 and 15 will only be able to allow their friends to comment on their videos, or they can choose to turn off the comments altogether. The app's duet and stitch features, which allow users to repost and respond to another person's videos, will also be disabled for videos posted by users under 16. The ability to download videos of users under that age has been completely disabled. For users between 16 and 17, TikTok is disabling the ability to download their videos by default and restricting the duet and stitch features just to their friends. The suite of tweaks should add up to a TikTok that's more protective of its youngest users. Those users can still, by and large, use TikTok the way anyone else can, but the app is doing more to actively shield them and their videos from the community at large. So TikTok has been gradually adding more and more of these privacy controls for teenagers' accounts over the past year. In 2020, the app started allowing parents to remotely set restrictions on their child's account, and later began allowing parents to tweak their kids' privacy settings as well. TikTok has previously disabled direct messaging for users under 16. This is all a substantial turnaround from how TikTok's predecessor handled kids' accounts. So TikTok had to pay $5.7 million in 2019 to settle allegations that the older app, Musical.ly, failed to gain parental approval for kids under 13. So TikTok now has a completely separate app experience called TikTok for young users that shows curated videos. I can definitely appreciate when a company takes these extra steps in order to protect their vulnerable members of their community, and young people definitely fall into that category. Obviously, there's a bit of controversy behind this. There always is. But I think it's super important, especially on an app like TikTok, where things go viral, where things are seen. I think, how do I word this? In a day and age where so much of our lives are online, but in addition to that, they're just so accessible by so many people. And in a lot of ways, I think that's a good thing, but it also really, really carries a toll. There are always going to be trolls. On any site, on any video, on anything online, there are always going to be trolls. And I think that limiting the exposure to that for people of a certain age is important. As much as you might think that, or some people might think that, age restrictions are limiting or whatever else, I think it's really important to step up as a community to protect, like I said, vulnerable people. Because I have, as I've stated before, I have a small background in criminology, and so looking at this from a criminological perspective, specifically with statistics behind things like, human trafficking, things like just the taking advantage of younger population of people online. It's a thing. It's a real danger, a real active danger to young people. So I think this is a really cool thing. I 100% support, protecting those in those specific ways as well. These users can consume, most content. It's not necessarily limiting their ability to be involved, but it's limiting people's ability to speak directly to them if they don't know them ahead of time. It's limiting their ability to comment. So comments like on physical appearance, You know, we see this on a massive scale where people turn 18 and suddenly, you know, they get all of these comments sexualizing them. That's for men and women. You know, we see it more often with girls and women than with boys and men, but that does not necessarily limit it to a certain demographic. There is danger out there. And so it's good to know that they're stepping up to really protect a demographic that doesn't necessarily have the experience to know how to protect themselves. So as controversial as it may be, and as I'm sure that there are 15-year-olds who are angry about this, 100%, but I can't help but support it. I think it's super important. As Silly Fun says, good trolls troll hedge funds and the stock market. Bad trolls harass children. That's true. Well, there are many versions of trolls on the internet. And like I said, as long as there is internet, there will always be trolls. But protecting the youngins for as long as we can, and hopefully encouraging them to then, you know, treat people with respect as they get older and continue to protect the youngins. I think that's a good pattern to set in place. And that's all I have to say about that. Moving right along to yet another social media platform. Chat a little bit about YouTube. YouTube is testing clips for live stream and VODs, which is kind of exciting. So YouTube has officially introduced clipping, which is the ability to make short clips of live streams or videos, like long form videos. And this is starting with a very small group of creators. These clips are going to be anywhere from 5 and 60 seconds in length, and they're going to have a new URL associated with them. Creators and viewers are going to be able to create clips by clicking on the clip icon through, though the feature is currently limited to desktop and Android devices. They're, you know, starting to launch, testing it out. They'll be rolling it out soon, hopefully. This is really a smart move on YouTube's behalf, because clipping is something of a live stream industry standard, really. And YouTube has more and more recently been trying to market itself as a live stream platform. If you've been following eSpot Live for a little bit, I was super excited about the ability to stream on YouTube as well as on Twitch. And so I think it's important if YouTube wants to kind of become standard for live streamers, if they really want that market, they really do have to make sure that they're keeping up with those standards. So yeah, they're introducing this new feature to hopefully help with that. Clipping is super important for live streamers because you can really easily share a live video content through short clips that can then be passed around on social media, rather than like requiring or marking videos so viewers have to kind of potentially, you know, skim through hours of stream. So every platform from Twitch to the now departed site Mixer has decided that this is something that their live stream community needs. So YouTube adding the feature is just another signal that the online video titan intends to beef up its live streaming operation. So they're really moving in that direction, or they seem to be. You know, if you know streamer spaces at all, you know that clips help channels grow. A good clip can go viral, and this can bring in a massive influx of viewers. And in streaming, where visibility is a massive part of creating a sustainable income, that's really half of the battle, is getting those viewers in. And so once you have the clips that can go viral, people can decide if they like the tone of a particular show or stream or whatever. And that draws people in, and then people will sit through hours of stream. So yay, YouTube doing a thing that is helping streamers. I think it's awesome. I'm excited. And honestly, it's necessary. If they want to support streamers, it's a necessary feature that they're jumping in on. Good for them. We'll have to see how long it takes for them to jump from these like the small group that they're testing it out on to then make it accessible for everyone. So yeah, cool beans. I just said cool beans. It's fine. Everything's fine. All right. Next up, Vicarious Visions will be now exclusively focused on Blizzard games. Yeah. So Vicarious Visions, if you don't know, is a studio that developed Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy and the remake for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. They've now been assigned within Activision Blizzard, according to Game Industry Biz. So they've been specifically now moved to like a more narrow focus, essentially. Moving forward, the studio's team of about 200 people will now be, quote, fully dedicated to existing Blizzard games and initiative. So this means that for any games Vicarious Visions works on in the future, it will not serve as the lead development studio. A Blizzard spokesperson is reported as saying, after collaborating with Vicarious Visions for some time and developing a great relationship, Blizzard realized that there was an opportunity for Vicarious Visions to provide long-term support. The studio has not yet specified what projects Vicarious Visions will be providing support for, as Blizzard Entertainment is currently working on 3 separate titles. So there's an ARPG hack and slash mobile game, Diablo Immortal, in addition to sequels for Diablo and Overwatch. But yeah, there was a report last week from Bloomberg that says Vicarious Visions has been working on the Diablo franchise since last year. So that work will include a Diablo 2 remake, according to Bloomberg. Also worth noting, as part of this merger, Jen O'Neill, who previously served as the studio's head, has now been promoted to the Executive Vice President of Development at Blizzard. Vicarious Visions was founded in 1990 and became a subsidiary of Activision in 2005. Throughout its 30-plus year lifespan, the studio has worked on various projects across numerous franchises. So yeah, now they're going to be exclusively focused on Blizzard. But they've done good work in the past, so yay! Super exciting stuff. It's like quality control. Yeah, anyways. Moving right along. So the last thing that I have to chat about is super exciting revival for fans. G4 has officially confirmed the revival of X-Play and Attack of the Show coming back in 2021. So yeah, G4 has officially confirmed that they're going to be returning summer of 2021. It was confirmed on G4's Twitter in a teaser video that featured the show's logos, the voice of X-Play host Adam Sessler, and the text, "We heard you, the legends return, summer 2021, we never stopped playing." Panavental's in the chat going, "Woo, I love G4! Yay!" Yeah, super exciting. So G4 actually first revealed its intention to return in the middle of 2020 during Comic-Con at home on IGN Live, and since then, WWE's Xavier Woods has joined as a new host, and Olivia Munn has been in talks to rejoin as a host as well. X-Play was a TV show known for its video game reviews and was on air from 1998 to 2013. Yes, I numbered correctly, I think. 1998 to 2013. Throughout the years of its run, it was hosted by Adam Sessler, Morgan Webb, Blair Herter, Jessica Chobot, Lauren Fielder, Kristen Adams, more. A lot of big names. And then there was Attack of the Show. That was a live TV show all about the best in pop culture. That show also featured video game coverage, but it was much broader than X-Play, and also discussed things like news headlines, tech, movies, more. Attack of the Show aired from 2005 to 2013, and that one was hosted by Kevin Pereira, Olivia Munn, Alison Heislip, Candace Bailey, Sarah Jean Underwood, Kevin Rose, and others. So yeah, for fans of G4, for fans of X-Play, for fans of Attack of the Show, they back! Summer 2021. Super exciting stuff. Yay! I always like to end on exciting things, so glad that I had that to share with you guys. That's really all the news I have for today. Thank you guys so much for the amazing welcome back. Thank you for being part of this eSpot Live community. I had so much fun. It's great to be back. Like I said, I missed y'all. Hope you guys had as much fun hanging out, listening to me babble. As much fun as I've had babbling. Also, you know, since we're talking about community, have you checked out our Discord yet? Yes, we are on Discord. I'm gonna go ahead and chat that, put that in the chat. Let's see if I can do the buttons. Hold up. This is a lot more awkward when I'm trying to, like... Hold on, did it work? Did it work? Yes! It worked! Join our Discord server! For those of you who are on YouTube, I'm gonna post a separate link for y'all as well. Hopefully this works. Still figuring out how to do the YouTube versus Twitch chats on here. But yeah, so hopefully this works. But yeah, there should be a link or two in the chat to link you to our Discord page where you can join our community. Said this a billion times before, but since we're rebooting after a hiatus, I guess it's not really a reboot. We're coming back after a hiatus. I think it's important to mention again, this show exists to build community. We here at DVSI Entertainment are working on so many things that we are just super excited to share with you guys. We've got so many people working just on a lot of different projects, and I'm here to babble about entertainment news, but also so that we have a bit of a back and forth so you guys can jump in so I can talk to you, because I think that's super important. So yeah, if you want to keep talking to me, to people, members of DVSI team, to the DVSI community, check out our Discord. You are going to be able to see when a stream on the company channel starts. You're going to be able to leave ideas, and this is super important because feedback. You're going to be able to give feedback, give ideas for my show, for other shows that we do, for topics or food requests, for a recipe for murder. Like, we're just really excited. So, if you haven't yet, check out Discord. We're also all across social media. Check us out on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and Twitch and all of them. I don't know if I missed one. And Discord. But yeah, that's all I have for today. I cannot thank you guys enough. Thank you. Thank you for being here and listening to me and chatting with me and welcoming me back and being generally awesome. I will be back on Thursday. Yay! 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when this happens. eSpot Live. So I'll be back. That's 3 p.m. by the way, if you live on the other coast. Somewhere in between, if you live somewhere in between. That could have been a little less awkward. Oh, we've got somebody on the YouTube. DJ Saeed. Did I say your name correct, or did I butcher it? I'm doing well. I love this. See, I'm super stoked about this working on YouTube, guys. This is awesome. Thank you guys so much. I got completely distracted by my excitement of having a new person. Welcome, DJ. I don't think I've seen you in the chat before. Or maybe I have. I have a terrible memory, so good to have you here. I have no clue what I was saying. So thank you guys. 6 p.m. Thursday. I'll be back. There we are. Mondays and Thursdays, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 3 p.m. Pacific Time. Goodness, I'm digging myself a hole. This is awesome. You know you've missed this. I'm gonna wrap this up for today. So I want to say make sure that you're staying healthy and safe in all of the crazy. Stay plugged in and connected to community. We'd love to have you as part of ours. Check out us on Discord. Yeah, stay hydrated because it's important. Have an amazing day. That's what I'm forgetting. Stay devious.